Hey, Rachel, I've got a question for you.
Yes, what is it?
Do you actually pay yourself first or do you pay yourself later?
Pay myself first. What does that mean?
You want to know about it? Stay tuned because we're going to be discussing about that today and how it's impacting us.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Smart Women Finance, a podcast dedicated exclusively to helping you women out there to gain more financial awareness. Right. So, together with me, I have Pauline Theo. She's a licensed financial planner. And
Hey,
me,
everyone.
rocking Rachel. I'm an insurance advisor. And we are the go-to girls of Smart Women Finance. We basically decided to start up this podcast to help women, whether or not you are a young working adult or you are already married or even heading towards retirement. Yeah, we want to actually help you with your daily financial affairs and help you make more smart decisions on it.
We would like to inform you that whatever discussed in this topic and in this podcast is completely general advice or based on our own personal experience and opinions. If you are facing any financial issues, we do recommend that you seek consultation with a licensed financial planner. Thank you.
Today we will be discussing something quite timely in this event, which is actually how to avoid overspending.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And
what do you
I think, Rachel, the other thing about how to avoid overspending, I think the more important question we need to face reality today is everything has actually increased in price. Like petrol price has increased, our cooking oil has crazily increased by 3 times, right, the usual amount.
Yeah.
Even I believe like most of the food shops that we normally go to has actually adjusted their pricing as well, to $1, $2 a little bit more higher than usual, right?
Yes.
So I think these are things that is already impacting us. So I believe, when we talk about how to avoid overspending, it's like, duh, it's already, everything is going up in price, right? So what are we girls talking about, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we are living in the post-pandemic era, and we're really facing all the effects from it, especially here in Malaysia.
Yep.
So, like we know for a fact, like food prices as they increase, it's very rare that they will come down. So, so it's high time we actually look into being a bit more serious as to how do we cultivate a better finance or rather savings habit or a budgeting habit, because you're going to need it in this time of days.
Yes. And I think now more than ever, because if we don't actually start today, I believe in the next few months to come, it's only going to eat into our savings and it's going to impact us even further, right? If we don't actually manage things today. So I think first and foremost, this is actually a joke that, my friends and I have been talking about it. I'm not sure whether you can actually relate to it, Rachel. But let's just take something very basic, that we normally eat on a weekly basis. Something as simple as chicken rice.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine right now, right? We're paying close to like 7 to 8 ringgit for the same plate of chicken rice that we are used to paying 5 something, 6, a couple of months ago. Can you just imagine, right, in the near future, chicken rice could actually be a luxury item for you and your family? Think about that. And I think today, what is more pertinent is I think over the last 2 years of pandemic, a lot of us have started cooking and learning recipes from home, right? Can you just imagine that is most probably the first thing we need to do now to be more self-sufficient by learning how to cook all your favorite dishes or your hawker foods and whatever nuts we have out there in order to feed the family, within the given budget that we already have. Because eating out would most probably be a luxury for us, and we cannot afford to, frequently now go out and
especially with a family.
Especially with a family. I think even when you're dating and whatnots, right, it's already kind of like, a little bit on the steeper side, because if you're actually splurging on food, then very likely chances, on other entertainments that you want actually to go for, it's already kind of like eaten into your other budgets.
Correct.
So I think we really need to start thinking about it, like what can we really do in order to safeguard our interests today so that we will have some money saved at the end of the day, and be able to still survive, on a normal basis.
Yeah, because if you logical fact is the prices of things are increasing far faster than your income is increasing.
Yeah,
So
I think that's the only thing that has been rather stagnant, you know what I mean? Everything else has increased, but hey, what about my paycheck,
income it takes more effort to increase it up, right?
Yeah, correct.
So today, what we really want to help you with is, with that same income, is it still possible to survive in today's world? Well,
Yeah.
the good news is it is actually, but it requires a bit more effort in the area of planning.
That's right. That's right.
So,
And I think today we're going to be sharing with you at least 3 tips, in terms of what you could really do in order to safeguard your pockets, as well as to be able to manage your budgets a little bit better. Right, Rachel?
yeah. So, when we talk about planning, right, Pauline, what kind of planning do you think is very important when we talk about overspending?
Okay, so I think to avoid overspending, the very first thing we need to be very disciplined and very conscious about would be our monthly budgets. So what do I mean by that? If you're thinking about your daily expenses, right? What are some of the things that you can identify which are fixed expenses? Means that every month it's the same amounts, okay, of same expenses that you're spending on, versus variable expenses, which is things that comes up every now and then, not really must-haves, but some kind of luxury items that we may splurge on. So let me
Entertainment.
yeah, correct. So for example, if I were to give you very good examples of fixed spendings, right, would be, for example, food, beverages, things that we consume. These would be rather much fixed expenses, right? We have to eat every day. We can't say, let's go on fresh and sunshine tomorrow, So these would be what we call as fixed expenses, or even loans that you're paying to the banks. For example, your housing loan, your car loan, motorcycle loans. These would also be a forms of fixed budgets, right? Whereas variable budgets could be things that come along the way every now and then, like for example, someone's birthday, you're celebrating an anniversary. Those will be variables, okay? Things which are nice to have, something that we could potentially, kind of like surprises in our budgets. But even with that, we can still plan for them. Okay, so what is very important is to be very disciplined to monitor what exactly you're spending on, so that you get very clear on, are we actually spending and splurging on things which is nice to have, potentially like dates and entertainments, eating out, which could actually be causing you to overspend on a monthly basis.
Yeah, and even when we talk about going on spontaneous events, like trips, like now we have travel, so the weekend comes, you just decide, okay, let's just go here, let's just go there. It's great, it's nice to do that, but you have to also bear in mind that it can impact your budget a lot.
That's right. So I think the best way to actually manage this, I'm not saying don't go for holidays, right? Of course, all of us are human, we need a break. So plan for them. So for example, a lot of us who are under employment, you would want to maximize, for example, the leaves that you have, for example, during the last Raya break, it was during the weekends and you kind of fell together with the 1st of May, and it was like one long stretch of holidays. So this is where you start planning, because you know what's coming ahead, what holidays are coming up. So you can already plan to say, okay, if I'm going to take a break end of June, it gives me how many weeks now to put aside some money, which I am aware that I'm making this allocation for the trip. So there is no surprises in terms of, oops, I don't have enough, and I'm going to be using future money in order to spend today. So I think that's very important, okay, for all of you to be more aware. So planning would definitely come in. Don't do anything sporadic or spontaneous. I think that's the more important point here.
Yeah, exactly. So this is some of the tips that you can apply when you do budgeting. And also other ways, simple ways that you can do is, whenever you go shopping, have an intention as to what you want to buy, what you want to do, what is the shopping trip.
That's right. Have a shopping list. I think that's the more important point here, because you know what, we are all very, very used to just walking the aisles, right? So when you do that, we are always derailed by, for example, oh, this is actually on promotion. Now it's 50 cents off. And you put
Oh, yeah.
items like this into your basket when it's actually items which are nice to have, but it's not really the key thing why you're there shopping in the first place. So I
Yeah.
think this will really help you if you have a checklist. For example, you know what you're going to be picking up. You just focus on getting those items first in your basket. And if you're really disciplined, that would be the only things you should be having in your basket.
Yeah. So I mean, it takes time like to build a habit like this because like it's not. I mean, maybe the supermarkets and all is easier to have a list, but like now with Shopee and Lazada and all, it may be a bit harder to do it because once once it's in your cart, it's very likely it will be going to the next phase, which is
Yeah.
so
So I think that's why it's still very important for us to be very focused again, right? What are important things that we want to spend on? Because it all comes back to one very key thing, your discipline on what items you are putting into your cart. So that's why I did mention you have to be very conscious and very disciplined again on what you are shopping on. Otherwise, you're very likely to be overspending at every single point whenever you are shopping online or even offline.
Yeah. Online or even offline. So So apart from all of this, the last tip that we have for you today is to actually have financial goals.
Yes, definitely.
It's very hard for you to be disciplined in saving, to be disciplined in having a list and all those kind of things. If you don't know where you're going, because it's like, what's the point of everything, right? What's the point of anything? So have a list. Ask yourself, what is it that you really want to achieve? Let's say small goals, maybe by the end of this year, or even by the end of next month. And have some long-term goals, like, okay, maybe in the next 5 years, I plan to own a house, or I plan to get married, start a family. These are mid-range to long-term goals. And long-term goals could be looking into retirement. Because many people rely on EPF alone for their retirement, but EPF is more like something it's not exactly like this, but you can use this description. It's like a minimum wage that the government offers you. So the government is helping you, and it's a great help what they did with EPF. But if you're just going to rely on EPF, then you're allowing somebody else to design your retirement for you.
Yeah. And I think, honestly speaking, from all the reports we've actually heard from EPF and themselves, right? Basically, whatever you're saving for the next 30 years, okay, of your working life, it's really not sufficient to fund for your retirement in the older, when you're older, in time. Because at the end of the day, you need to be very conscious about the lifestyle that you are living. Is it very, very much a basic lifestyle, or is it on the lifestyle whereby, it's on the higher end of things? So whatever it is, the lifestyle that you're looking for, it's not wrong, but you just need to plan so that you are saving sufficiently for you to last, whatever duration that you have after retirement. So I think there's a lot of factors here, right? When we talk about retirement planning, there are a lot of factors that you really need to take into consideration. Otherwise, another secret enemy of yours, which is inflation, will hit you like a rock, even though you're not even aware of it. Okay, so I think that's very, very important for us to manage, early, so that you start saving early for retirement, so that you have sufficient, in the later part of the day. Okay, so I think this is something that we really need to start planning for as well.
Yeah, so like retirement wise, I mean that is your long-term goals lah.
Yeah.
But so when you have this kind of financial goals, it's easier for you to have a savings goal. Like for example, if let's say your long-term, I mean your mid-range goal is to buy a house. So you would need to build up you would actually, number one, need to build up the cash for the down payment. And number two, also you need to get used to also having I would say a sinking fund for your house, because what if you need to change your aircon, or there's a repair that needs to be done. So this kind of things will need to be considered in. So if you're going to just practice it when you get the house, then it's going to be much difficult. But if you can start practicing it from now, you start saving it, but you use that savings to maybe towards the down payment. So you're already building that habit, so you're training yourself. Okay, every month when I get this salary, usually I will spend only maybe 30% on my my wants. And the balance of it, I have savings for the house, I have savings for my retirement, savings for my emergency funding, all this kind of things is done. So
Yeah.
when you look at your house, it's much easier for you to fit into your budget. Of course, your income will increase along the years,
Yeah.
but don't let your income increasing tell you that, okay, that means now I get to spend more.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
because there are many other things besides spending money today that you can do for yourself in the future.
Yeah, precisely. So I think these are some of the very key areas I would say, if you are very consistent in terms of knowing what exactly your budgeting is, okay, what are the items you really need to spend on a monthly basis, having a shopping list when you are actually, going out for your shopping trips or even shopping online. Okay, and third but not least is actually having very clear financial goals to direct you towards the direction that you're going towards. These three would most probably be able to help you plan and save quite a bit already. Okay,
Yeah.
so try your best to do this, but I know it's actually not very easy for everyone to practice this because it does take time to get used to these concepts. What we're actually offering you this time would be a complimentary health check. So we actually help you to get started on this journey so that you can start budgeting and planning well so that you can actually have more than sufficient money at the end of the day in order to achieve the goals that you want, right?
Yeah.
So this is some of the things that you most probably can help you to, not overspend, okay, during this tough period.
Correct. So like even this tough period of things going up in price, it will call for a different style of budgeting because you need to,
Yes.
if you are increasing your budget on a certain area, that means from, let's say you used to spend 500 this area and you're increasing it to 700 now,
Yeah.
there will be a cost to it. That means you need to cut down somewhere else.
Precisely.
Right? So this part is not very easy to do sometimes alone because it's hard because we're already living that lifestyle. So maybe you need a third party to help you with this, and we are actually here for that.
Yeah,
So
precisely.
do click the link in our description to book a slot with us where we can actually help you out with this financial check.
Yeah.
And it's complimentary in the first place, so there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what's very important for us is for you to be on track again, and to be able to manage within the current situation so that you don't suffer in the long term as well. Yeah. So do let us know. Okay, it's actually very okay not to be okay at this point in time. All these petrol prices or oil increase or food prices increase, right? It is really not something that is very much planned. Okay, so whatever the situation is right now, we just need to manage it a little bit better. So come talk to us. Feel free to do that.
Yes. All right.
Okay. And we will definitely want to see you in the next episode where we'll be talking about something very interesting.
Yeah.
So do stay tuned so that you can actually follow up on the next topic. Okay. Take care and goodbye.